FPL time, and it is the first significant double game week of the season. So, Mark Donaldson, I suspect a lot of people will be playing free hits this weekend, but my question to you, is it worth it?
What a great question. And the answer, quite simply, Kate, I don't know. If I was pushed one way or the other, I would say probably not. Err on the side of caution. However, there is a caveat to that. We now have an additional free hit. It was given by Fantasy Premier League to managers to deal with all the chaos because of the pandemic. So if you still have 2 free hits available, then I might consider it. And today I've put up a free hit squad for you, which we're going to go through shortly. But if you've only got 1 free hit left, then I would suggest not. The reason being, this, as you quite rightly say, is the first significant double game week of the season. There are going to be others. There's also going to be a blank game week, probably game week 30, to coincide with the FA Cup. It's easy to think, I'll just play it now. I think the successful managers will be the ones who are patient. If you have to, if you've got players that are away at AFCON, you've got injured players, you might not have a choice. You might consider your wild card or a free hit. Salah is the one as well, because you're not going to get him back for 2 or 3 weeks. Is the free hit worth it this week? I don't know, but I've done you a free hit squad anyway. How about that?
Fantastic. So let's see then how these FPL managers could prepare if this is what they are thinking about. Talk us through it, Mark.
Yeah, let's start between the pipes, Kay. And David De Gea has made more saves than anybody else. And this is more due to save points, potential clean sheet points. But I don't like Manchester United right now, the way that they're playing. They're certainly not nailed on for any clean sheets. And I know they got one against Villa in the FA Cup, but they go to Villa now and they go to Brentford in midweek, which I think is a much better fixture for them. But David De Gea, it's one of these, yeah, you kind of want him, but there's a lot of others starting to pick him up as well. So whether you've got Dalot, whether you've got Varane, whether you've got Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, whoever, I think you need some sort of Man United cover just in case they do get a couple of clean sheets. I'm going to go David De Gea in goal. Now, you'll see here there are some playable players on the bench. The thing with a free hit, as you've just seen, you might have a double game week. However, those managers that picked up Everton players and other types of players, and then the Leicester player, of course, who their game was called off, just because it's a double game week, there's no guarantee you're going to get the second of those fixtures. So it's an absolute minefield. So what I've done, if you're going to do a free hit, I would suggest make sure that you do have at least a couple of players on your bench. You know that if you're going to have to rely on them, whether it's auto sub or whatever, they will be playing. And remember as well, this week, it's a Friday deadline because there's a fixture on Friday. There's a lot going on. So defensively, look, I've gone for a couple of Chelsea players. I just don't like the double game week fixtures for most of the teams. There's one decent one, but there's one bad one for most of them. So yes, Chelsea have got a couple of games, but one of them's at Man City in the early game on Saturday morning. So that's why I've gone with one starter for Chelsea and one on the bench. You could easily go Cucurella or someone else from Brighton because they've got the early game as well this weekend. I like Reguilon. I think it's important that you have him in or a Spurs defender. Andrew Robertson, and this is the thing as well, Kay. I don't just think you should be going for, let's see how many double game week players that I can get in. Ask anybody who's put in Calvert-Lewin and all the Everton players and they only end up getting one game out of it. You can get easily a single game week player, especially with Liverpool at home to Brentford, making and earning more points than a double game week. So don't just have this kind of stars in your eyes, oh, double game week. Don't forget the guys who have got single game week fixtures that are really enticing.
Anyone else, any other player you'd like to mention, Mark, that stands out to you?
Well, when I put this free hit together, Kate, the likes of Tsimikas, look, he's not going to play, but he is an enabler. He's 3.7 million right now. It's a 1 week and done. One and done. Off he goes, as do the rest of these if you don't have them in your normal squad. So there are a couple of enablers in there. The difficulty is who to leave out of this squad. I could easily have gone bigger than Lucas Moura with a Bruno Fernandes or a Kevin De Bruyne in midfield and just gone with the 2 main strikers. However, I've got Dennis in there as well. He's got good fixtures, and I know I've got him on the bench. If you've got him, I would suggest playing him. I just don't know where I can fit him in here. I've gone for two big ones in attack, Cristiano Ronaldo and Harry Kane. Captaincy is going to be a big issue this week, and who to captain. I wouldn't suggest captaining a single game week player, because if he doesn't do anything, then you're pretty much stuck. But Ronaldo's obviously going to be pretty popular. Harry Kane is going to be pretty popular. I would suggest going for a captain who's got a double game week. Don't fall asleep on any of the Leicester players. Harvey Barnes, I haven't got him in. I've got James Maddison in there. I like him. Chelsea, I've got a couple of games, albeit one is at Man City. And West Ham, I've got a couple. Well, I've got one nice fixture, and I've got a couple of players that were in contention. I've gone with Bowen. Antonio's another one as well. This is a very, very difficult game week. There isn't a right or a wrong way to do it. If you want to play a free hit, I would suggest make sure you have two available and you're not down to your final one. Make sure you do all your moves before the Friday deadline, and make sure you have at least a couple of players on the bench that would come in if games get called off or any late injury news appears. It's an absolute FPL minefield this week. If you want to do free hit, here's an idea for some of the players that you might want to pick. The one I would ensure you have, because everyone else is going to have him, is Diogo Jota. He'll be the main man for Liverpool in the absence of Mane and Mohamed Salah.
Lastly, just so they can't say we didn't warn them, can you repeat again the deadline for this week?
Yeah, it's a Friday deadline, and the deadline now is an hour and a half before the game kicks off. So whenever you're watching this, wherever you are in the world, find out the local time kickoff time of the Friday game. It's an hour and a half before that. So make sure you've made your changes, your transfers. The other thing is as well, there's plenty tools out there, Kay, to find out players that are going to perhaps drop in price or increase in price. Have a look at them as well. The best way to do it for this is when you go into your transfer page, if you're on your cell phone or your mobile phone or on your tablet or your computer, instead, when it comes up transfers, it should come up squad. Go to list, the tab at the top. That'll tell you how much you bought the player for, how much the player is worth when you sell him, and know, if you've done your homework, that a 0.1 drop in price could mean that your player drops in price as well, which could ultimately end up meaning you don't afford or can't afford another player because of that price drop. See, people just think Fantasy Premier League, what are these boys and girls all about that play it? There's method to this madness, and hard work can pay off. That's the bottom line.
There you are. Said it great. Hard work pays off. FPL managers, may the odds be ever in your favour.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.